pleasure to bring up our next guest, who is Susan Kerby. She is an inspirational author, speaker, and trainer. She has been setting stages and hearts on fire with her impassioned message for over 30 years. She's on a mission to help emerging thought leaders find their heart's voice and align it with their presence and message. She's a master at this. This results in divinely inspired success that changes lives. Having led over 200 transformational seminars, impacting more than 15,000 lives, and having trained internationally for corporations such as PayPal, StubHub, and Peak Potentials, Susan passes on the magic that leaves your audiences inspired, leaning in, and saying, I want more, I want to work with you. Equally comfortable in 5-inch heels as hiking boots and slippers. Susan cherishes the life of empowerment, adventure, and peace as she has created in partnership with her husband, Russ, who is also here. But let's give it up for Susan Kerby! Welcome to the stage!
My presence speaks volumes before I ever say a word. That's from Mos Def. He's a rapper. And that's from a song called Auditorium, I believe it is. And it's an album called Ecstatic. And I thought, I'm Googling like quotes for presence. And I'm like, really? A rapper? But I thought, I actually listened to a song and read the lyrics. He's really known for being a stand for what he believes in over the money. So it's kind of interesting, we get to quote Mos Def. Who here wants a dynamic presence? Who here wants a dynamic presence that has people following you? Yes! Well, welcome to your destined presence. Lisa's been talking about your destiny, designing your destiny, and we're here for creating that destined presence. My good friend and speaker, Ernesto Mercado, he and I have been working together. We've been talking about destiny. And he said to me, you know, the difference between fate and destiny. Fate, when it's fate, the world shapes you. When it's destiny, you shape the world. So today we're working on presence that has you shape the world. Yes. So first I want to thank Lisa Marie. I know she's not here with us right at the moment, but she is such an amazing presence. Her presence does speak volumes before she ever says a word. When I was with her, I was in a seminar not much different than this. And she happened to be a participant, I happened to be working that seminar. And when I saw her from across the room, I thought, that is not your average participant. Do you know what I mean? You know, like there's those people you go, oh, they're cool. And I thought, how great. And I saw she was actually needing to talk with someone in the back of the room, and I thought, you know, the non-average participants should talk to the non-average, like, not that anybody is, but I just was like, I'm gonna go meet her. So I went over to be with her. I was so kind of in awe of her. So it was a lot like what Lisa said about the friend who she was like in awe of, and the woman said, no, we're peers. And so for me, it took me a while to get that. When Lisa would say, I love you. Like we'd be sitting there together, and she'd just go, I love you. And I'm like, me? Like one of those like me? And so I just appreciate that about her loving of each of you. And I think for everyone who's here, she had that experience. That's why we followed her. It's because she looked at me and was like, I love you. And you're like, I believe you. And you see that trustworthy, you see that power. And then when you actually get to talk to her, you see the joy of her life. And when you actually get to talk to her, you find that her speaking and her presence match. So that's a whole nother thing that we get to, which is that how do you have your presence and your speaking actually match? And that's one of the things I get to do with my dynamic speakers. I work with a group like that. But for today, we're going to look at presence. And what I noticed is I thought being a leader, I needed to be bold and I needed to be invincible. Anybody have that thought? Like you need to actually have a little bit more macho something going on than you have? All right, well, not too unlike Lisa, I also started with that, oh yeah? What do you got? I got that. I can do that. You know, it's like whatever that kind of, oh yeah? You know, like that attitude. So, when I first came into this world of being an adult, I just graduated college. I'd gone to Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine. For anybody who knows it, you go, wow. And for anybody who doesn't, it's one of the top 10 liberal arts colleges of the country. It's consistently ranked in the top 10. I graduated high school with a 3.9091 grade point average. The only C I'd gotten in my entire high school career was in typing. You know, it's like, so I get out of college not having a clue what to do. And eventually I took a job with PaineWebber because it sounded good. Because I was going to be going back to my college, you know, for the September homecoming, and I wanted to have a job, and I wanted to just sound good. So I took a job typing labels for PaineWebber. Me typing? So anyway, I was typing. Clearly I was miserable. And I was also trying really hard to be liked by a group of people I didn't even like. So, but that whole trying hard to be liked pushes people away. How many of you found like that whole trying hard is just like miserable? It's miserable for you, it's miserable for them. So I knew I was at my low when I found a note on the desk that said, we're going out to drinks tonight, but we're passing around this note because we don't want Susan to come. Miserable, huh? And then only, you know, at the time it's like, I am so done with this job. So it actually got me to stop being like, whatever, I just want to be liked by these people. I'm like, who cares about these people are rude. And you know, like I just kind of got into a little bit of an attitude that was like, thank God she's got something going on instead of trying to please these people who, you know, anyhow. But you can get, it takes something that you have to be willing to up with which you will not put anymore. Like up with which I'm not going to do that anymore. I need to find out who I am. And that's when I ended up in the transformational seminars. And I'm like, I can do this. And I got to lead seminars for landmark education for 10 years. And I was a designated seminar leader. And I was liked. And I was all that stuff. But you know what? I could produce the results. But landmark's really about being authentic. And about being authentic about everywhere you're inauthentic. And about who you're being. And one of my seminar leader mentors said to me, Susan, you can do anything. But it's who you're being that's the issue. But that didn't give me any better access to being. And that intellectual properties of landmark education, transformational as they are, didn't give me any access to being. That came in a whole spiritual domain. And that's when I was on a pilgrimage. I went as a tourist because I didn't believe. So just, you know, I went because somebody paid my way. And found something I didn't expect to find. When you're not looking for something that doesn't exist, you don't expect to find it. Just saying. And I found myself in a dialogue with Christ, which was surprising. And I said, how come I'm always so defensive? And what I heard was, please don't be your first line of defense. You be vulnerable. I'll keep you safe. So I started finding presence in the being vulnerable. I started finding presence in letting people in. Ernesto loves to tell the story of how he came to be my client. Because when I stood up in a seminar, again, one of the non-average participants, yet clearly a participant in the seminar, I said, you know, what I'm seeing here is I've spent my whole life saying, you can't get me. You can't get me. You can't get me. Go ahead, try. Well, you know what, when you be, you can't get me, nobody gets you. Clients don't get you, nobody gets you. You're like, I'm good over here. And I shared that. I thought, now I get what I really want to do. I want you to get me. Come tickle me, like do whatever the kids did that I'm like, you can't tickle me. You know, it's like, I want, like, who are you? I want to let you in. And Ernesto, at that weekend, came up to me and said, you know, I vowed not to have another coach. I wasn't taking on another coach for at least another year, but I think I need to work with you. And I'm thinking, oh, it's my brilliance. It's my charm. It's my presence on stage. No, it's that I shared my vulnerability. And he goes, I want that. So a dynamic presence doesn't always look like, you know, and sometimes it does. And sometimes it looks like just being, like, exposed, vulnerable, connected. So I love my life because I get to work with all the speakers who have amazing tips. So I get to take like Ernesto's tips and everybody's tips, and I have this really cool life because even though I signed up to work with Lisa Marie because she's an amazing coach, I'm like, I could hardly need another coach because I have all these speakers who teach me all this great stuff. But I also know that taking on the coaching, finding a coach who's above you and dragging you along, or, you know, nicely dragging you along, that's where I belong. So, here we are. Now it's your turn. Because I can play stage talk. I can talk all the time. I love talking. I love being on stage. I love the lights. This is good. I come alive up here. Some of you, not so much. So how many would you like to know my 3 hottest tips for actually how do you bring being and presence? Okay. Tip number 1. I'll have you do this in a minute. Tip number 1 is recognition. It's where you stand and you recognize the people in the room. So if you saw when I came onto the stage, I just beat with you. And what I saw was God in you, or the divine, or that namaste, that whatever that is of recognizing the divine in another, where you kind of open your heart and you actually lead with your heart. And then all that other noise kind of drops away. So that's easier said than done, yes? Now I've told you exactly what, you know, that's what you do, it's all good. Ready to go? No, okay, so I have an exercise for you. Now, for those of you who think I'm a little woo-woo, I am, you know, like a little bit, you know, but, and I also have some science backing this up, so I'll give you some little science. The quantum physics studies field theory, and they measure the electromagnetic fields. And you can measure the electromagnetic field of your brain about 2 inches from your brain. They feel that, just humor you, put your hands up on your head, just kind of feel. So you kind of go, oh, okay, there's like a 2-inch, okay, there's a little electromagnetic field going on in my brain. All right, cool. All right, now, most of us lead from there. What if we led from here? What you don't maybe know is that the heart has the same electromagnetic energy that when grown can be measured at least 30 feet out. So if you want to know how a leader walks in the room, and you know a leader walked in the room, then people say, you got big energy. Yes, I do. And, you know, even Jewel, yesterday when I was up here dancing with her, she goes, I like your energy. I'm like, yes, God energy. You know, so we're going to give you that same leader energy. So simple. Ready? You want to walk out with that? Okay, good. Okay. volunteer. Okay, we're building up the energy in the hands. Okay, get them ready. Give them all right to feel them. And now you kind of pull them apart, and you feel a little bounce between them. So just see if you can feel the energy between them. Ooh, right? Okay, now as that energy, let that energy grow a little bit. Get it to be about the size of the basketball. Good. Okay, now grow that ball a little bit bigger and kind of lean your heart into it. So I'm going to have you all do this. Okay, good. And now just imagine that bubble just came all around you. That bubble just got big enough where you could be in it. Now you have your own edges, your neighbors have your edges, but you're in your little bubble. Okay, now imagine that bubble just got bigger to include the person on the right and the left of you. Just feel the quiet around. Okay, now grow the bubble to start to include the row in front of you and behind you. And then the room. Now you walk in like that, you walk in as the queen or the king. Now for fun, they said 30 feet, but I don't think they could measure far enough. Get the whole hotel. All of LA. All of California. The US. The universe. Feel like there's no edges between you and anybody else. Now kind of bring it back in. Bring it back in, back down to the US, back down to California, back down to LA, back down to the hotel, back down to the room. Okay, so this is kind of a comfortable place to be when you're the speaker. You hold everybody in your energy. Now, when you're maybe not the speaker, I have walked into rooms where even the speaker turns and is like, Susan, there's a seat over here. And it's like 100, 200 people in the room. I'm like, you need to turn down the energy before I walk in the room. Like, if you don't, you can't walk in being unnoticed. So, go ahead and bring yourself back to just you and the person next to you. And then give your own little bubble back to you. So who wants to share from that exercise? What did you feel? What did you see? Especially somebody who might not have, who might have had a little, anybody have difficulty with the exercise? Willing to share?
I felt chills in my spine when you mentioned about.
Can you use the microphone? Thanks. You can stand up too. Thanks.
I actually felt chills in my spine when you talked about the whole universe. I was kind of comfortable, and then when you got to that point, it was just like, just an actual physical feeling of chills went down my spine.
Yeah. And you could feel it grow, yes? Your energy get big?
But I could feel the growth, but I didn't feel the chill until I got to that point.
That's
So,
good. It's pretty exciting when it's all one. So beautiful, Anna. Thank you. Who else? Struggles, concerns, questions about that? Because I want you to have this not as some woo-woo thing, but as like really who you get to be, whether you're walking up on stage or you're walking to a network event or you're walking in to meet with your boss. Any other shares or questions? Please. Kirsten.
Yes, hi Susan. So my question is, if you're holding everyone in the room in your energy field, what do you do if people's energy is unwelcoming or kind of uncomfortable in some way, like they're not listening to you? Yeah, just how do you handle that?
All right, great. That's right into tip 2. So very good. Perfect. So first off, you want to know people who won't let you into their energy field won't let you in, and that's okay. So you kind of have to have a little permission. You can't just enter in where, if it's not wanted, but you can still own your energy as big as you'd like, and you can just kind of bless them. Remember how Lisa said earlier she was going to be a blessing versus a stressing, using Jules' line. And it's that whole, so the second tip is really to honor the people in your room or the people you're connecting with. Now, sometimes you might be honoring someone who you don't even respect, or you don't feel they have any respect for you. And that's the challenge. So the question is, how do you honor or respect someone who might not have respect for you, or you've got a resentment against, or any of that kind of thing? So this is another welcome tip, which is have compassion. Remember the humanity. Just take a page in your own life for a moment of a day when it didn't go so well for you. A day when maybe you just read the note that said, we didn't want you to come. One of those times when you're like, that didn't work so well for me. And just have a little compassion for the person who's acting out in a way you wish they wouldn't. And I find that when I have compassion or can soften my resentment just that little bit, it shifts my energy. So I'm not trying to fight it, but I'm just kind of sending it love. And I know what I found is I recently had someone in my room when I was leading in a seminar, and everybody else was all like, and she wasn't quite so, and I thought, and I tried to kind of cajole her or talk to her, like find out what's going on. And I thought, she doesn't think there's a problem. And I've also watched my own self being in the seminar rooms, and the face I have on my face sometimes when I'm just sitting in the audience face, it's like, oh, I would wonder if I were the one leading up here what that face was meaning out there, and it might not have meant anything. It might have meant, oh, I didn't pay that bill, or I didn't do, like there's some other weird thing that goes on. So just have some compassion for the people in your room, and bless them and let them and their greater source sort that out. And when they're ready for you, they lean in. All right. Now I'm going to do one little bit of anchoring exercise for that. And I want you to just find a partner. And all I'm going to have you do is look at them. And I don't mean like, like giving them the eye, but actually connect with them. I had a great exercise a little bit ago with, I've lost her name again. Joan? Yes, with Joan. Yes, Chris and I were in the back. We were also doing that thing. But Joan and I were doing a little bit of exercise, and I recognized the power of when she looked at me in the eyes. And that was connection. And Lisa talks about building connection. And that whole being willing to look someone in the eyes when you're having that conversation with you, that's connection. So I want you to just connect, no words. Because we don't need to be worried about what to say. Let's just have you be being. Because today I'm talking about presence, I'm talking about your presence speaking louder, and you're just being. Okay? So just turn to the person next to you. If you don't have a person next to you, you need a partner, raise your hand, and we'll get you a partner. Anybody need a partner? Can you come up and be with this one? Okay, wait. You guys are together? Do we have someone in the back, Renee? Can you come up with, we got it. Listen, would you go back and be with John? Thank you, sir. All right, great. So what we're doing, Karina, would you be willing to step up here for just a second? Help you out. That stage is a little tough. So this is how you're doing. Just be with me. Okay, so this is the whole thing I'm asking you to do. Okay? Just connect. All right, so just be with each other for a moment. Don't do any of the talking. This isn't a small chat. This is just quiet for a moment. Just experience being. For some of us, this might be one of the first few times we get to just be. I didn't know what being was. I was really good at doing being. So in the area of being, just kind of imagine what this person may have gone through in life. The times when they were a kid and running and jumping and loving life. The times when there was maybe something tragic. Just have an appreciation for the person across from you. All right, thank your partner. So I want you to notice a couple things. That when you do that first exercise with the heart, when we did that as a room, the room really quieted. Because you hear like all the little How many of you ever saw the movie Gods Must Be Crazy? See Gods Must Be Crazy? There was a part in Gods Must Be Crazy. It's a story about a Coke bottle that gets dropped in the middle of the Sahara Desert, and it's the only one, and God's crazy because he left one Coke bottle because everything else in the desert you could share, and this was only one thing, and it drove everybody crazy. Okay, so that was the essence of the movie. But there was a scene before you ever get to that part of the movie of South Africa in its bustling city. And this woman is on, they go, day starts at 9 a.m., goes till 10:15, coffee break, stop there, go to lunch, and it's like this whole like, these little cubicles and all that sort of stuff. She goes to lunch, and she's having her lunch, and she says to the woman next to you, does the noise in my head bother you? Oh. My husband and I use that all the time, like, does the noise in my head bother you? So the noise in my head bothers me, but it also tends to bother the other people. But you don't know it's bothering them, because you think, nobody's hearing my noise in my head. But there's something in the way we be that noise carries with us. So when you can get in your heart, like that simple little exercise of the little rub your hands, throw a little basketball, going out, or just connecting with another human being, kind of heart to heart, but really eye to eye. Okay. So now, that gets you into those quiet moments. Have you ever been in a mood? You know what I mean by like a mood? It's not like, oh, I'm in a mood. It's like, I'm in a mood. You know those moods? Like, you know, like, and I'm hungry and you should go away. You know, like that. I get particularly moody just before meal times. But, so I'm going to ask you, how do you then have the antidote for the mood? Anybody have, like, want to know the antidote to the mood? Because, you know, there's times when you have to come up on stage or you have to actually go meet with your boss or meet with a client and you just had one of those moods. So that's the game of how do you get it from or and have you you know, the upside thinking world. So this is the tip I call enchanted play. It's the playful side of me. And what you get to do is the partner you had just a minute ago, you're going to actually get to talk this time. And what I'm going to ask you to share is a time when you remember having the most fun ever. Now, you might go, well, I've had so many most fun ever moments. That's fine. Just pick one. But I just want you to share about something that you went, that was great. Like, my husband and Ernesto got to share this together at a workshop I just led. And I walked over and I heard my husband going, and then we were on this scooter and the captain blew out a cannon. And when he shot the cannon, I got so excited, I just go, yay, let's do it again. And I was there watching my husband when he did, let's do it again. And the captain's like, okay, let's do it again, you know. So, but you know how, like, that was a non sequitur. It has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, right? But I share that, I jump up and down, and you're all like, okay. So now you get to experience changing your own mood by sharing one of those stories for you, okay? So, A's, Actually, I'm just going to do it this different way. Person with the longest hair goes first. Alright, you get a minute each. Alright, go. Long hair, go. So if you're ever working with a crowd of people who's not like looking like they're having a good time,
Yeah.
you know, this is kind of Kirsten's question about like, what do you do when they're not quite so receptive? Get them talking about themselves. And a time when they were really happy. So you can compare, so this is one of the seminar tips, so for those of you who do want to lead seminars, you can pair and share and do anything you want. You just, you know, it's not going well, you want to read your notes? Pair and share and tell them about a time you were really happy. Okay, I'm going to read my notes, see where I am. They're happy. They're completely entertained. You come back, they're in a happy frame of mind. They're like, what else do we got? Okay, let's go. You know, like, so you as a seminar leader, or as the person in control, as any leader, you get to actually set the world the way you want it, to honor my friend Ernesto. So this is about having a presence that shapes the world. Truth is, you could walk into an office that's miserable. How many of us have ever walked into an office that was miserable? Okay, you know, you can stand in the DMV line. Misery in the DMV line, you know. And it's interesting, if you're just being yourself, you can connect with the guy. I was getting on BART. Now, LA, I know you don't have BART. Up in the Oakland area, Bay Area, we got BART. I'm not a BART girl, okay? Like, I know we have BART. That's about what I know about BART, okay? And I was to get from San Francisco to the East Bay, where my husband was gonna pick me up, because I'd been on a jury in San Francisco. Okay, that was enough. Now I have to go get on BART. I'm 50-some years old, I ought to be able to figure out how to get on BART. There's a line of people waiting to pay for a ticket that you get from a machine. Okay? All right? And they're all lined up now behind me because it's now my turn at the machine. And there's this lovely black young man behind me who's like, lady, what are you doing? When are you gonna, how come, come on, I'm gonna miss my train. And then I go, well then, help me. I go, I don't know what I'm doing. And he goes, oh, well, okay then. And he pushes my buttons and he gets my change and he hands me stuff. And then he gets his thing so he can catch his train and off he went. And I'm like, that was not hard. There's plenty of people in the world to help you. And you can take those people who are kind of adversarial and go, help me out here. We have a problem. You know, like, so it's who are you being? You could be a leader and an inspiration to anybody, to everybody. So that's really what I want to leave you with today about presence, is you can shape your world. I could have cowered and gone, holy moly, I'm never riding BART again, I'm taking a cab. I don't belong on BART. You know, it's like, or just go, hey, help a girl out. Yeah. And he was completely happy to be gallant and help me. He just probably didn't expect I'd want help. I don't know, whatever. You know, it's like, man, lady, leave her alone, you know. So I'm just sharing that when you have your presence, it makes a difference everywhere you go. So I'm curious, just shout out, when you see my presence on stage, what do you see?
Strength.
Confident.
Authenticity.
Right.
Yeah. Who wants some of that? You all have that. Okay, I'm reading my magic wand. This is the enchanted part. It's all yours. It's all yours. It's just a standing. Okay, so there are those of you who want to be on stage. And how many of you actually would like to be on stage? How many of you think that would be the worst thing ever in life? That would be like, don't even think about being on stage. Okay, so I get that. Now this is the thing. We're in a leadership summit. Do the leaders come up on stage?
Some.
Some. You can leave for back. But I have an invitation. I have a little exercise that is completely harmless. No injuries, nobody's died. Didn't take any prisoners, you know. But I would like 5 people who are willing to just come up and be on stage. I'm not going to ask you to say a thing. I just want you to have the experience of being on stage, and I want to have the audience have an experience. We're going to do a little demonstration about where you stand on stage. So who's willing to come up? So pause for a second. Pause for a second. So in particular, the people who are scared. So I know some of you aren't scared. I could tell by the enthusiasm I hadn't quite framed it just right. So I'm willing to have everybody play. We only get 5, but if I could have at least some of the people who are a little bit reticent.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Beautiful. We love having you here. And thanks. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to step down. Ernesto, give me your hand for a second. Okay, so I'm going to step down. So we're just going to let him just stand on stage for a moment. Just kind of connect. Don't worry about anything. You just be with these people. Okay, great. Everybody just step 2 steps to that side. Get everybody in the light. Okay, good. All right, so how do you feel? So how do you feel? You feel the bright lights? Okay, how do you feel? Okay. All right, so notice where they're standing. Notice where I was standing. Please take 3 steps forward. Be on the edge of the chair. You know, like come on. There you go. Okay, good. All right, so now, For the audience, what's this like being with them?
Much better.
They just arrived on stage.
Yeah.
Did you know you could disappear and be on stage at the same time? Now, how does this feel for you? Better, yeah? Because these are your friends out here. They're not so scary out here. When you're on the edge, they're like, oh, these are people.
My pretty clumsy don't work.
I have to stay exactly the end. So take just a half step back. Take a half step back. So that's okay. So they're still in the room, right? They didn't leave. But now go take those 3 steps back where you guys started. It's like they just left, yes? Their presence is much diminished. Just where you stand on a stage has everything to do with your positioning, your presence. So step down, back up. You get where you're comfortable. Right, and just look these people in the eye like you were doing the individuals. But pick one. Okay, so this is the other tip. When you're in front of the room, it looks like you're in front of a lot of people, but you're really only in front of one person in that chair, and one person in that chair, and a person in that chair. And the truth is, when there are speakers out there and they're just talking like, okay, I'm talking to the crowd, and you scan from here to here, and it looks like I'm including you all, and nobody feels included. But I could talk to Ernesto, and I bet my friend Joan could still feel like there's something going on. I can talk to my friend Joan, and Ernesto's completely fine that I'm not quite there with him. So when I'm with Pamela, the room's okay. It's happy when you just land for a moment and be with one person. So the good news is, they're happiest when you're with one person at a time. And you're happiest when you're with one person at a time. Bonus! Okay, so just pick one person at a time and connect with them. Look them in the eyes. Just like we did that simple little exercise outside. All right, I'm going to back up a moment. Get your little bubble going. Go to your little bubble. Go to your face. Okay. Include the whole front row on the stage. Are we in there together? And send out your energy out to the room. Okay, now connect. Now, how does that feel?
Like you're breathing with everybody.
Yeah. See, you think it's hard to get to learn to be on stage. I gave you 50 minutes and we're already like, ooh, I can do this. It's not hard. It's just who you're being. And there's just a few things to do to get you into who you're being. See the God in every one of them. See the divinity, that spark of the uniqueness, that thing that is only theirs, that song will only be sung by them. You just start loving each and every individual in this room, and you're like, I can say anything. And as a leader, anybody would follow you anywhere when they feel seen, heard, valued. Presto. Simple. You've had it there. It's kind of like that whole, what's it, Dorothy, when she clicks her heels and goes, there's no place like that. It's like, I've had the answer all the time, you know. So this is not, I used to say I like to like bring out your presence, or I talked about awakening the presence or something like that. My husband's like, it's there. It's just kind of covered up. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's not asleep. It's just kind of been boxed in. So we're just kind of removing the stuff that lets you be the leader you are. Thank you very much. So, as we said, There's a lot I can teach you about speaking. There's a lot I can teach you about presence. And not teach as in like you don't already know, but I'm gonna just kind of reveal the magic of it. And in 50 minutes, I don't get to answer all your questions. I don't get to do a Q&A version of what can we do? And I don't even know where you are. Like there's a lot of you who raised your hands and you do want to speak. Then there's those of you who are like, I didn't think I wanted to speak. You know, so there's a range. You know, I talk about there's kind of the evolution of the dynamic speaker. And the first one's like, it's all about me. You know, that part, I call them the budding speakers. And then you get there. I know. Then there's the, I call them the, lost it for a moment, I'll tell you in a second. But the second pace, you're all worried about, like, what are you going to say? I call them the emerging speakers. I know we call them. The emerging speakers. They're like, okay, it's now not at all about me. It's not all about me. It's, but what am I going to say? Because my message is really important. Then there's the level of speaker when they go, I call them the seasoned speaker. When they go, it's not about me, it's not about what I say, it's about the people in the room. And that's awesome. But it's the dynamic speaker when you go, it isn't about anybody in the room, it isn't about me, it isn't about what I say, it's a lot more about the people that these people are going to go impact in the world out of who they're being. Out of whatever I'm saying today, they're going to go impact their husbands, their families, their, you know, like when it starts to have that ripple effect, who cares what you say? You know what I mean? Who cares anything about it? You're just like, I got a message and I got to tell you what it is. Like, I don't have to work really hard to get you to be a speaker when we talk about what's most meaningful to you and what's going to go change the world. So if you would pass out the handouts for me. There's a couple things you get in this handout. Is one, you get a Q&A call with me, where I'm just gonna hold a teleseminar. You're gonna get an email about when it is once I know who all's on it. And I'm gonna answer any questions you have about speaking, any questions you have about presence, any questions you have, whether it's, I work with some of my speakers I work with on how to negotiate with their ex-husbands. You know, they're like, I got a really tough crowd. I'm like, okay, let's get in there. So, you know, you don't know where you're going to go, but I invite you all to be on the call. And if you have a question, bring it. And if you don't have a question, come and listen to the other questions. You might go, that was good. So, if you would be willing to keep in contact with me and you'd like to be on one of the calls, or a call, just please fill this out. There's no fee for this. There's anything. I just want to be able to keep connected with you. And while you're doing that, I will let you know there's another little bonus. You know how Lisa loves to give bonuses? We've worked out a really cool deal. So for everybody who's in the Design Your Destiny with Lisa Marie, you know some of those retreats that are coming up? I get to actually give my time and have it be some of the stage presence, all that sort of stuff for the leadership. So we get what I call my dynamic delivery day, is one of the things you actually get as part of that package. So, yeah, Ernesto's like, cool. He knows it's worth it. So, thank you for letting me be here with you. Thank you for letting me share my presence. You know, if it's not received, it's never fun. You know, I say I get stage relief versus stage fright. So when I come up, I'm like, yay, this is where I belong. Without you, it's lonely. So I want to thank you for that, and I really look forward to getting to work with those of you who are stepping into the Designing Your Destiny. And I'm going to end with another quote on presence from Malcolm Forbes, the publisher of Forbes magazine. He says, presence is more than just being there. So hopefully today you got a little bit about what's the more than just being there.
Should they hand these to you at the break?
Yes, actually, if you would, if they're filled out, you can actually pass them in down the aisle, out to the aisles, into the aisles, out to the aisles. If they're not yet filled out, you can hand them to Joe at the back. And I don't want to leave you. But I look forward to working with you more. And I'm gonna, the quote I said I left with, I'm lying, I'm gonna add one more, it's my friend Ernesto's. About when it's your fate, the world is shaping you. And when it's your destiny, you shape the world. So, you know, I did sign up to be on Lisa's team because I'm like, that's too good a deal for me to not be led by someone with that kind of influence. And I invite you all to come play with us and design your destiny and shape the world. And now you have the present.